I will be brief to introduce my panel today. I have with me Barrister Ali Kazmi. He's a young barrister from United Kingdom, son of soil from Kashmir. Mr. Fahim Kiani, very leading human rights activist and Kashmiri activist, is the chair of Delhi Kashmir, London. Let's start from the barrister Ali, as from the legal perspective of view, how he views the freedom of expression, what are the legal standards of it, international standards of freedom of expression, and how he sees they are being curtailed in Jammu and Kashmir. So, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Hamza. Thank you. Well, firstly, I would like to express my gratitude to the organizers of this event, the Community HR and Advocacy Center, and International Women Union for helping arrange this event. And also would like to thank my fellow panel members and all the other friends that are present here today. In relation to the freedom of expression, I will briefly go upon the rights that I mentioned, especially in relation to Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. But first, I would like to begin with just a small idea of what my idea of expression is. To express with one another is nature. The sharing of free-flowing ideas, opinions, views, and critique is fundamental to that nature. Now, this is a very generic overview on communication. However, certain regions of this world, including Indian occupied Kashmir, are subjugated away from that right. Now, while writing a speech or while saying the right of freedom of expression, I very consciously chose the word right and not privilege. My friends, the right of expression is a protected right under a plethora of legislations, charters, and treaties that exist. These protections are binding to UN member states, and any violations or failure to adhere to any such protections should and would result in adverse repercussions. However, sadly, in Indian occupied Kashmir, that freedom of expression is not even treated as a right, let alone a privilege. Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This is a cornerstone of the UN resolutions. It's the cornerstone of anything, essentially. It states that everyone has the right of freedom of thought, conscience, and expression. A very close example to us is we are all here today able to discuss what we want to discuss, share our opinions, because in a legislative sense, this article enables us to express what we want to express with each other. Now, the UDHR goes a step further. It says, without interference to this right, and also through any medium. Consensus by the UN Human Rights Council in 2012 affirmed that this freedom applies both offline and online. Perhaps the most blatant violation of this right has occurred since 2019, when Indian occupied Kashmir has been facing widespread blackouts of internet, media, and communication methods in Kashmir. The gravity of this breach, in my opinion, is unparalleled. Because this not only just affects human rights activists, lawyers, journalists, but this goes to the root of the general public. They're not able to express, they're not able to share, and most importantly, they're not able to understand what is happening outside in the world. They are stifled away from expressing their views and accessing information. And again, this is not a stance that is in the gray. This is not a biased opinion from me. This is not a biased opinion from my NGO, but rather a ground reality that has been reported by credible sources again and again, just to name a few: Reuters, BBC, Voice of America, Al Jazeera, and alongside a very reputable independent cybersecurity company called Surfshark acknowledges that these blackouts are one of the most highly hit. This region has the most highly hit blackouts in the entire region. A good example of this, in fact, the Supreme Court of India themselves, in Hansen versus Union of India, acknowledged that the government needed to review the shutdown of internet services as it could be illegal. Now, this is very significant because this is the first time that the Indian courts are acknowledging the violations that are taking place in Kashmir themselves. And this goes back to the root of the first argument, that Article 19, not only is it being breached, but there is no basis for it. Again, International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights also shares a similar article called Article 19. It says, everyone shall have the right to freedom of expression. This right shall include freedom to seek, receive, and impart information on ideas of all kinds. Now, I don't want to bore you with too many legislative words or charters and treaties, but these are very, very, very important. Without them, we cannot reach resolutions. Without them, we cannot understand how to go about the situation further. The Human Rights Committee General Comment number 37 expands upon this article, and it says that freedom of expression is a necessary condition for the realization of principles of transparency and accountability. Transparency and accountability cannot exist in regions where such right is infringed upon, where free media is silenced and there is propagation of propaganda, where the media policy is to sustain a false narrative on Kashmir, promoted relentlessly by the state. Journalists are scared to speak out because they realize what happened to Sayyid Shujat Bukhari will happen to them. He was found shot dead in his car. India ranks 161 in the freedom of media, and inevitably Article 19 cannot prosper in such a region where journalists have to impose a self-restrictive ban due to the repeated violations. There are other important charters, pieces of legislation, ECHR, AHCHR, African Charter on Human Rights, UNESCO, International Declaration of Human Rights, all emphasizing the importance of freedom of expression. Now, these are international charters and treaties, not domestic rules, regulations. They are acknowledged by all UN member states, and any such violations are very, very serious. I need to emphasize, Article 19 is repeatedly encroached. I'm not going to take much time. I'm just going to conclude by saying that the people from that region suffer because they are not able to express their views. Anyone that does not subside the state agenda is immediately shunned down, and people are afraid to talk. Friends, I urge you to look at the stats and figures yourself, as you are very well aware of what happens in that region, and form your own opinion. There is no areas in the gray, but stats and highly critical reports that are in the black and white are out there and lead to the UN. Other regions, of course, face similar sufferings, and we must join together to understand how to go further to prevent human rights violations, to express with one another in nature, which is fundamental. However, that nature and the fundamental right is being denied in Indian Kashmir. Thank you for the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Ali, for your wonderful intervention, and I think